Hey, 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 welcome back, people, to the VAR room where Americans talk soccer. I'm your co-host today, Idris, and alongside me, Jun. How you doing today, Jun?
Doing good, Idris. Football.
Well, thank you to all our subscribers. We're glad you're staying with
Why you
us.
talking like that, bro?
I just recently went to Scotland, so I'm just back from Scotland. I'm practicing my accent, but yeah, thank you guys so for subscribing. Make sure you murder that like button, not just hit it. Murder that like button,
Please,
please.
please. Let's get
Murder
that. Let's get that
that.
like button go up. It's been
Yeah.
rough these days, but you know, I know you guys will smash that like button. So, yeah, just do your thing. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, and today we're just gonna do a little preview of or review of what happened in the Premier League this weekend, and talk about the so-called big game that was supposed to happen, but it just happened to be dead. So,
Was it really big though? I don't know.
is that the most overrated fixture in English football?
I think so.
I think this was hyped up as much as the North London Derby, but it didn't live up to the hype, man.
It really didn't. There were a lot of disappointing points I would like to mention later. But yeah, definitely there
Yeah,
was so much hype to this game coming into this game. I was pretty hyped too because they were top of the fixtures, right? Both of them. And
yeah.
now they had a tie and Manchester United is in the first place. Yeah, so Idris, why don't you
That's
start
that,
it off
that's
for
good.
us? What do you think about
Yeah,
what
yeah,
are your
yeah.
thoughts about this game?
Let's start. Dead, dead. It started off really good. Actually, it's not like dead in the sense that there were not chances. It's dead in the sense it ended 0-0. I thought this was supposed to be massive. I was expecting a thriller,
Yeah.
like similar to what we saw at Leeds. The Leeds United game. The
Mm,
hype for that was insane, and we did get a thriller in that one. United came up hot, goals after goals after goals, but this one it kind of started off hot, but it just kind of cooled down. And I think United defended really, really well. I think Luke Shaw was immense today. Harry Maguire, I give him a lot of shit because he's still a fridge, but he was pretty good today. Lindelof was good as well. Wan-Bissaka had some shaky moments. Mane did a number on him a few times,
yeah.
and Gini Wijnaldum. But defensively, they were solid. But attack wise, they're kind of dead. They were trying to play a counter attack, and it didn't really work out as they planned. I think Thiago and Fabinho are immense players. I'll touch on Thiago for a bit because I think he's going to steal the spotlight. But he was immense. His passing, his dribbling, his composure on the ball,
His
and you can
shot.
just, yeah, his shot. You can just see that he. I think this shows what a truly world class player is. I know we talk about like we know Bruno is world class, but Thiago's been playing at this level for years. I think he stood out in that Liverpool team really because it's just like he has played at this top level against the big dogs for so long and so
Yeah.
consistent that he was just shining. And at some point, I was like, he's probably fed up, and he's taking it at the scruff of the neck and trying to win the game for his mates. But he was really good. But I think for me, I think my man of the match has to go to Fabinho. He saved Liverpool a few times when they had one-on-one situations where it's like, all right, are they going to get past him? Last ditch tackling, some
Yeah.
key interceptions. Like
Hmm.
he was immense. And to see this guy playing central defense, a center mid, a center back when he's a center mid, I feel like I've been fooled that he's been playing the wrong position all along, man. And I'll shout out Allison for some big saves. He did come up when they called him, so shout out to him. But the rest of the team kind of dead. I think Trent did okay. Robbo did okay. Firmino was shit, dude.
Oh
Mane,
yeah. Yeah.
Mane not up to his intensity. Salah is still in Luke Shaw's pocket, which is it's weird to say. I don't rate Luke Shaw that much. He's a decent fullback at best, but he has Mane in his pocket. Shaqiri had some good moments. same thing with Genie, but nothing special. I think Thiago, Fabinho, and really Allison stood out for me. How about you? What are your thoughts?
Dude, yeah, Harry looked different today, man. We always make fun of him, you know. We call him a 80 mil fridge, but today he looked light on his feet, dude. And he was making those runs back, get back in position, defending, and leaving no space for Manchester United offensive lineups, you know? So I was very impressed with Harry his performance today, and also Luke Shaw, man. Like, yeah, I didn't really have much expectation for Luke Shaw either because he's been very inconsistent with his play. Uh, so I didn't really expect too much from him, but boy, he made those runs look so easy. Idris, you mentioned that he was running stride to stride right next to Mo Salah, and then he had him in his pocket. You know, that was
Insane.
that was insane, and he was drawing those fouls, creating those chances for Man United. But at the end of the day, all those chances that were created, they couldn't convert to goals. And I think the key thing of Man United today, why they didn't have a successful game, is because Bruno. And Bruno didn't come. Like Bruno did play well, but not as good as his previous games. His passes were a little off today, and just look on his face tells me that he's pretty tired, like he's fatigued. So I wanted to see like maybe at the 70th minute, that's where really Bruno started to stand out, where he missed a lot of passes, and that's why I wanted to see Donny come in and replace the gap. And Bruno also had a good shot, but it was right to Ellison's chest, and that would have been a different story, I think, if it had Donny, if he had more strength on his right foot, that could have converted into a goal. But yeah, that was a little disappointing on my end, just in terms of a menu substitution. I wish I saw Bruno subbed out to get some rest. And Cavani, he made some good runs, but very unfortunate today that the ball didn't come to him, and he seemed very frustrated, especially at the last chance, Rashford. But he kind of missed that one tempo to pass to Cavani because Henderson defended it really well. So props to them, Liverpool defender Henderson. Not even a defender, but playing as a defender, which is very impressive. And Fabinho, yes, he had an immense game today. Key defender today. Um, yeah, found a new talent in center back. It's crazy. And I would give a man of the match though today for Liverpool, Alisson, because he made some goal scoring chances, saves. You know, he blocked all the shots with his left foot, blocking the ball, and he just looked really reliable today out there. And that's for Liverpool. And Fabinho had a terrible game. Sorry, Firmino. Firmino had a terrible game. I thought his passes were off, and he just looked his visions. It was kind of dead, you know. So, and Mo Salah and Mane also, yeah, not as good as we expect as them to be usual. Um, yeah, I think props to Manchester United because they really killed the Liverpool's attacking lineup. They really defended well. So props to Man United. I think technically Man United won in this game because they just nullified Liverpool's attack. But if Man U only could have converted the goals, I think they could have had a better game. Man of the match for Man United, I think I give it to either Fred or Luke Shaw. I think they both had a really good game. Fred, I forgot to mention, but he also looked very comfortable on feet today, and he made those crazy passes, creating a lot of space and opportunity chances. So, yeah, I think I would give it to Fred actually.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think Fred was all right, nothing special, but yeah, like when you compare Fred to like the likes of Thiago and what he did, it's like Well,
Oh,
but yeah,
Werner had a better game, Idris.
Then Thiago? No, I failed to believe that.
Hmm.
I felt no. Thiago was immense today. But yeah, at the end of the day, there's not really much to talk about. Like Liverpool kind of controlled the game, but David De Gea was on vacation having dinner with the president and shit. He barely did anything apart from the Thiago shot. Really, I don't recall him really doing much. You know, but yeah, I guess we got the supposed big game out of the way first, but yeah,
Yes.
let's go to the next one. The other game that happened earlier today was Spuds 3, Sheffield 1. As a Spuds fan, how did you feel about that game?
Oh, when the Spurs go marching in. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in. I want to be in that number. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in. Oh man, I was so impressed. Harry Kane looked fast today, clinical, back again. The Harry Kane I knew. The Harry Kane it was a little bit disappointing last game, but I think he came back. Um, but we were playing the Blades. Blades are in the relegation battle, and but at the same time, the Spurs player had a lot of pressure on them because all the social media were commenting, "We're gonna score one goal, and 70th minute, we're gonna sit back, and then we're gonna park the bus, and they're just gonna score, and then we're just gonna tie the game." So I'm happy that I was wrong, and I'm happy that Spurs took this win. They had a 3-1 victory against the Blades. Blades play well. They really played well, but they just couldn't convert the chances. McGoldrick also had a lot more chances, but a lot of the shots were just straight to Hugo, which was disappointing to see. But happy to see Rodon back on pitch, starting for us, defending for us. He was pretty solid today, and yeah, I think Sonny has also been very inconsistent lately, but definitely he's a crucial member of the attacking lineup. Like him and Harry Kane just work so well with each other, and yeah. But overall, it was a pretty boring match, to be honest. Like it was kind of slow paced and it was not too exciting to watch after like 3-1 when we were winning. Um, yeah, I wouldn't say Spurs games is like it's like fun to watch as like Man City and like Liverpool. I would say they got the tiki taka. It's more fun to watch. But our style is very different. We tend to park the bus pretty often, and not a
all
fan
the
of
time,
that.
all
Yeah.
the time. But I digress.
But Bergwijn, I think he had a pretty decent game, but he's got to convert them chances into goals, man. And also, I want to see more Carlos, man. Vinicius. I want to see more Vinicius, and there's a lot of saying that Lamela might leave Spurs. I think I saw a couple of news about that, but I think we need Lamela. He does a lot of dirty work in attacking, and he's the one that gets the ball, and he's sometimes sort of selfish with the ball, but most of the time he's a hustler. So I like him. So I want him in Spurs, and I want him to play more. Actually, I want to see more rotation in terms of a Spurs lineup because we have a lot of attacking options. We have Bale, we have Lamela, and Vinicius, Mora, Bergwijn, Sonny, Kane. So yeah, so that's my overall thought on this game. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Idris? Have you seen this game live or just
Yeah,
follow the score?
I was watching it live
Yeah.
actually, and I think the only thing I missed was the first goal. Then I saw the highlights of the first goal. Really good first goal. Blade started off really bad. Then I think they grew into the game, and at 1-0, I'm thinking to myself, if the Blades get the next goal, this would be a very interesting match. Then that's where quality comes into place. And Harry, you know the rest, Kane did his thing. That was a really good strike. I think Ramsdale should probably do better because that's coming from a long way out. But
Yeah,
I think it bounced right in front of him, which is always difficult for a goalkeeper. Insane technique, but personally, I think the goalkeeper should be doing well. And I think second half, the Blades controlled it for the most part till they got their goal. And I was like, okay, this is good. This could be a good game. I think Spurs kind of went back into their old shell of we're leading, let's defend a bit. And
yeah,
for a team like Spurs, you expect them. You're playing bottom of the league, man. You got to go at them and attack. And I feel like they went into their shell a bit and they started defending, and the Blades started playing some pretty good football. You know, they got the
yeah.
goal back, and in my mind, I'm saying, all right, some concentration, and they should get the equalizer. But again, man, Ndombele has found his form, man. He's looking,
That shot, man.
bro. That's world class. Because you see some people do that, and you're like, they're probably trying to cross it, but he meant that every way.
Yeah.
And so difficult technique over his shoulder, outside. Oh man, that was just immense.
He
And
didn't even look at his goal, dude. He just knew where the
right,
goal was. Just boop.
and again, should the keeper be doing a little better? I think his positioning was kind of off because like I'm not taking away anything from the Ndombele because he's going away from goal. He had a defender on him.
Yeah.
Is the goalkeeper's position the best? I don't really know. But again, that was a class finish to lob it over the keeper from that angle without even looking. He didn't even take a look at the goal to see where the keeper is, and that's where I'm like, does the positioning of the keeper have to come into play? It's like that's shit positioning, but that's just class from him. And after they got that third goal, it's like now they can defend. Like they have that 2-goal cushion. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, come attack me. We got Sonny and Bergwijn, and we got Kane. We can hit you on the counter. And I think that's how Spurs need to approach their games a little more. It's not like they score one, then they defend. I feel like they have the quality to attack teams, score 2, 3. And if they're 3 goals up, it's more like, hey, we can defend, come break us down. And if you can't, we hit you on the counter, we score more. I think they just have to find that balance because we've seen them do it really good.
Yeah.
And I think the one game that comes into mind is the Arsenal game, even though they just won 2-0. But after they scored that first goal, because Arsenal was on to them, and they knew Arsenal could not break them down. So they're like, hey, they can't break us down. We don't need to go play football with them. We just let them try to break us down and hit them on the break. And that worked perfectly. But it's not going to work every time, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And we saw that against, was it Fulham last week? It's not going to work every time. Was it Fulham? Or whoever they, yeah.
Yeah, Fulham.
Yeah, it was Fulham last week. So I think they just have to find that balance. And like you said, I think we have to see rotation. What was the point of getting Gareth Bale if he can't come onto the pitch?
Right.
And today, the substitutions just blew my mind. 3 90-minute plus substitutions. He was taking the piss, man. Like, what does Vinicius have to do to get some game time, like proper game time? He scored a hat trick even though it was against Farmers, like in the FA Cup. Like, he's on loan. We have to remember that. Like Harry Kane, at some point, I feel like Harry Kane looked gassed. I'm not gonna lie. Harry Kane looked gassed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Reguilon he's such a great buy. Arguably top 3 fullbacks. You know, I gotta put Tierney in there and Robertson. Left backs, I should say. Top 3. He's class.
He played midfielder today.
Huh? What you say?
Reguilon played left mid today.
Yeah, but he's a good like fullback and just on the wing generally. And to think that Chelsea went to go get an English Kolasinac instead of Reguilon is insane. They paid 50 million for Chilwell. He was absolute shite in their game, but we'll get to that a little on. But yeah, I think Spurs just need to find their balance, and I think their defense looks pretty solid. Rondon looks good. He's a solid player actually. Like till he came to Spurs, I didn't really know who the kid was, but watching him today, he looks pretty confident in the air. Good on the ball, he's good. Can make tackles, so pretty good. I think personally, I know Dyer he's a decent center back option, but is he going to be your first choice? Is he going to take you to that next level? I think you build a partnership with Rondon and somebody, like get a quality center back in. That's just me personally. Like this is just being honest, aside from my hate for Spuds, but I think he's a real deal. And if you can build a defensive line around him and Reguilon, you're looking at a decent defense, and you already have Højbjerg in front of them, so that's pretty solid. But Murillo has to find that balance. Don't just defend against most teams, because really better opposition that plays one-two touch football, like you said, Man City, they can probably break through your defense really easily, you know?
Yeah. Definitely. I kind of wanna Declan Rice on our squad.
Overrated. Absolutely overrated piece of shit. He's not even better than Højbjerg.
Bro, but he can defend, bro. He can defend, and the thing is that he can also shoot. He can score for us. And I think it's just going to be a good competition with Eric Dyer, because Eric always starts, and like usually like he makes a lot of mistakes, right? But in other teams, if you make those kind of mistakes, like you're going to get benched. Like at least the next game, and then you're going to have to sit out for a couple games and then, come back, right? But Eric always gets that center back position, but I would say he's been average. Like, I wasn't impressed, but I just need to bring the best out of Eric. In order to do that, we just need a better competition in our center backs. And yeah, Declan Rice, I think, will be a pretty good signing for us.
No, Declan Rice is overrated, but I don't think Murillo is a fan of I really don't think Murillo is a fan of competition when it comes to his teams.
I don't think so, dude. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
he plays the same players.
Yeah, it's been a thread. I think the only thing he gets spot on, and I think every manager has to do this, is if you play shit, you're out of the team. That's literally the only reason. He does not care about competition.
Yeah.
Like if you play shit, you're out of the team. He hooks you. But apart from that, really, he will just play the same team that's been working for him, and it only goes so long, Like I really want to see Bale play. I don't think he's been treated right at Madrid, and he came to the Premier League. I really thought he would play like Son, Bale, Kane. I thought that's was going to be the lineup we're going to see going forward. After he was back from injury, and we just haven't seen it. So I don't know what to say really. I think
yeah. Go ahead, Idris.
Yeah, I was going to say I think after this season, if Murillo doesn't really win anything, I think this might be his last season. Next season, I don't think he's going to be in the job, to be honest.
Yeah, hopefully he wins the FA Cup. Is it the EFL Cup, actually? EFL Cup?
Oh, yeah, EFL Cup.
EFL Cup, Carabao Cup, right?
Yeah.
So if he at least wins that against Man City, I think he's going to stay in position as a manager. But yeah, dude, I'm completely with you. We're paying Bale a lot of money. He's one of the top earnings in Spurs too. Like, why are we using him? Like, give them a chance, right? Like even Vinicius too. Like he is, like I keep saying that he's been just killing it in Europa League, and like, how are we gonna find out if he's good at if he's gonna be good at English Premier League? It's by only putting him on the pitch and watching him play, right? But all he's been getting is that 85-minute, 5th-minute substitution, like 90th minute substitution, like even the circumstances that he's been put in is like you can't really make a big impact because it's either they're like losing really bad or he just doesn't have enough time. So yeah, I just think that Vinicius needs more chance, dude. Like Vinicius, like if he performs well this season, and that could be a good signing, give him a full contract after, like, if you're happy with his performance. But I think Mourinho is pretty set on Sonny and definitely Kane. I mean, Kane, yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's usually Bergwijn and Ndombele and Sissoko, and yeah, I feel like he's definitely moved out of putting Eric, and because like I don't see Eric at all these days play, and not too much of Lucas Moura either. And yeah, I don't know what it's gonna take for these players to earn Mourinho's trust and playing time. So
I, I personally don't think it's sustainable though to be playing the same lineup because you still have the EFL trophy. That's I mean you're in the final now, so that's out of the window. Then you still have the FA Cup going on. Europa League is going to come back, and you obviously want to go far in that. Then you have the Premier League that's getting tighter and tighter. He can't. It's not sustainable. He needs to do something. He really does. And I just think I, I think it's a good rotation. I know Kane
yeah,
wants to play, but if he overplays Kane and he gets injured, sorry to say, I think you guys are screwed because then there's too much pressure on Vinicius to come in and do what Kane does.
yeah,
And same thing with Sonny. Like Bergwijn is a good future signing in the long term. I think a year or two from now, he'll probably find his feet. He hasn't lived up to the expectations just yet, but he's also not getting that much game time injuries and stuff like that. But if Son or Kane gets injured, then these players come in with immense pressure on them, and you're just like, you just kind of have to blame Mourinho for that. You can't really blame the team as a whole for that. It has to go on the manager because he refuses to do that. Really.
yeah. I just don't understand like why are we making this such a late substitution, right? We're winning 3-1 and like we have these options of players, right? Like I know that we want the win, right? We want to play these, stars of the club to just, cuz they always provide, for us like at least our expectation like Sonny and Kane and yeah, these players like at least to average, right? Like at worst, right? So, but I think these are the times that he should really explore, with these loaned players or whatnot. The other players are on the bench. Like we're not seeing too many rotations, different types of rotations, and we've been playing the same lineups, same style, and it feels like he's pretty set on this lineup, and it's very inconsistent. Our performance has been showing that it's very inconsistent. Like I'm kind of worried about our next game. Like it's like we do well on the one game, and it looks like this lineup is gonna be something for us, right? It looks like we found something, but next game it's like we're playing so bad. So we definitely gotta do something about this. Yeah, it's a problem right now.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I know we spent some time on that. Let's move to Leicester Southampton. I didn't see that game, but good win for Leicester. They're second in the league now, just behind United on I think it's a point goal difference or a point, not go to a point behind United on the
Two
table.
points.
2 points.
Yeah, 2 points.
Yeah, so good results for them, and you got to give them credit. They've
Yeah.
since their Premier League winning season, people were like, it's a one-off. They're probably not going to be
Yeah.
a top team after that. It's like 5,000 to 1 odds, and you're like, what are the odds they'll be up there? And we've seen that with Sheffield United. We can see how one season can turn everything around. But they've invested well, got a good manager, and they're looking like they're going to become a traditional. We'll probably have to extend it to Big Eight teams because it was really Big Four, then it's Big Six. Now it might have to go to Big Eight with Leicester and Everton coming up and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think Leicester's Vardy's definitely very consistent with his performance, and I think James Maddison definitely stepped it up this season.
Yeah, that injury really did affect him early on in the season, but now he's a class player. Then if somebody wants to buy him now, the English tax is going to come in. I'm seeing 120 million really. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a great player, but is he worth 120 million? I don't know. You tell me. I don't think so. I think 60 million is a fair price for James Madison. Honestly,
Yes.
if he wasn't English. If he wasn't English, but the English tax comes in and he probably will go for 120 or 150 million in the next few years if he keeps up this form, which is just
Crazy, man.
insane.
That's
It's
crazy.
insane. Yeah. Yeah, Southampton have kind of dropped form. Yeah, I mean, Hasenhuttl has gotten a lot of praise after beating Liverpool, but they've kind of dropped form from there. But they're still up there. They're eighth in the table. It's been a kind of weird season where it's like a few run of games can get you back to like the top four. So I don't think they'll be really worried. But I think this is probably their second loss back to back, really, last two games after beating Liverpool. So that would be worrying for them
I think
to kind of.
I think why they didn't do well is they're missing Ings, they're missing Redmond, and they're missing Gineppo.
Oh, huge miss.
They're missing they're missing huge players, like they're stars. And yeah, they're just trying out a lot of new players. It looks like they're trying a lot of different they have included a lot of new players I haven't really known at all in the lineup, which is pretty good, but which explains their performance lately. It's like Danny Ings, man, he is the engine of Southampton,
I
and
agree.
he works well. He works so well with Che Adam too. So yeah, they need Ings back, 100%.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, since I didn't really watch that game, I don't think we should spend too much time on it. But I did watch the Chelsea Fulham game, and I'll let you go with your thoughts because I have a handful. I don't know if you saw the game, but
Oh, I haven't seen the game yet, but I know that it was a lot of pressure on Chelsea, right? Because a lot of talks going on Frank Lampard's performance lately, and a lot of pressure on Timo too. Just overall, Chelsea's not performing well, and I would say Fulham on the other side was on the rise, like coming from like relegation zone. Like they definitely has been stepping it up. They've been tying a lot, but I think they're gonna get out of the relegation zone. And their player, what's his name? That signed from Wolves, Caballero.
oh, Cavallero.
Yeah, Caballero. So I don't know how he performed Chelsea game, but how did he do? Idris,
He was
what
a
are your
man.
thoughts?
He was a menace. He worked his nuts off. Running. He played decent.
Oh.
He kept running. He only lasted 79 minutes because he was gassed.
Mm.
But yeah. Uh, so but if I go in on this game, I don't know what it is about Chelsea. They look a shit show, honestly. And to be honest, Fulham does not get a red card if they don't get a red card in that game. I I honestly believe they win that game 100%. And
Really?
it
Okay.
was just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate how that red card came about in the sense that it's a young lad. He's very young, inexperienced, and it really showed in that tackled. It's on the sideline. It's not really a 50-50 ball in the sense that you can give him the benefit of the doubt. He just went in one of those reckless tackles and clearly a red card. But from there on, Fulham still played some really good football with 10 men. And Chelsea just they didn't live up to they haven't lived up to the hype. They've spent a lot of money
Yeah.
to build this team, and I think Pulisic was good yesterday. Obviously, Mason Mount was decent, but they looked really shaky. And Fulham, credit to them, they played some really good football, one-touch football and move. And it's like, am I watching Fulham or prime Barcelona? And Chelsea, I just think it's down to tactics. And there's some minor things that I think the commentator pointed it out. And this is why I call Ben Chilwell the English Kolasinac, because the commentator did point out is that Pulisic, he loves to run at players. And since they were down to 10 men, he was kind of drawing that wide player inside to give Chilwell the width to just run down the line and put in a cross. They had Giroud up top. And not once did Chilwell carry the ball into that space. He just played the safe pass. And I'm like, you're playing against 10 men. Why are you playing the safe pass? Really? Like, you honestly don't have to play a safe pass. Then it took what's his name? It took Lampard to bring out Jorginho in the 65th minute. you're playing against 10 men. Do you really need a holding midfielder? And you're playing Fulham for that matter. Do you need a holding midfielder against 10 men? No. Hook him off at halftime. Put in another striker, get some more intensity. Even put in a winger. And things didn't really change till what's his name came on. Calvin Hudson-Odoi came on. And I give him a lot of shit, but he's really been stepping up for Chelsea. And I think every time he's come onto the pitch, he's been a bright spark for Chelsea. Him and Mason Mount and they're academy boys. They're really carrying it, and we can see that this season with most team academy boys are really stepping up. And man, they got to return Timo Werner. They honestly have to. I am honest. No,
Is that Nike store did?
Bro, I am honest. Like I really want him to succeed because he was a menace in Germany. Yeah. But man, he had 2 clear-cut one-on-one chances and didn't even hit the target. Come on.
I saw that one. Yeah, went
wide. My grandma hits the target in those situations, man. She fucking does that, and you just have to feel for him because it looks like his confidence is shit. But even if your confidence is shit, you have to at least test the goalkeeper. And they honestly have to return him. They have to let him go. I think my patience personally has run out with him, and I think Chelsea fans are starting to run out with him. And to think that they compared him to the likes of Aubameyang and Harry Kane is just insane. Because he did it for one season, and they thought he's just going to come sprayed up. He's young, Yeah. He can still blow it up, but right now he's not doing it, and I don't know what they have to do to him or what Lampard has to do, because he's their big money signing. Same thing with Havertz, but give Havertz the benefit of the doubt. He did have COVID. He needs to bulk up a bit. He's not really playing in his preferred position, playing as a center mid versus that number 10. You got to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I honestly, alongside with, I know this might be a stretch, but along with Willian, I think Timo Werner has to be probably one of the worst signings of the season so far. And that's a huge shout, because I don't know what's wrong with him, really. He seems to do everything wrong. His first touch is poor, can't finish, can't take a defender one-on-one. This man has 99 pace. How can't you run past the defender? It's just, everything's just not, he can't even make fucking passes, man. And you really want to see these young lads succeed, because all these old heads go to retire soon, all these people that have done it at the top level. And is that what football is going to be? Like, we're not going to have players that have done it at the top level for consistent years. Do you think that's what it's going to turn to, really? Because we've seen the likes of Lewandowski, Ronaldo, Messi, even Neymar with his flopping. He's been at that top level for a decent amount of time. Thiago, the likes of those, they've been consistent over the years. And are we going to reach the stage where it's just like players get one good season, get a big money move, and it's over with? I don't think I'm ready for that future of football, really, because as a fan of football, you want to see players that dominate the game, and I don't think we're going to see that. Like, look at Hazard. He was brilliant at Chelsea, went to Madrid, and it's like, they want to return him now.
Who gets Zlatan, bro?
Yeah, I just think exactly. Like, he's been at it for years. They don't build him like that no more, and I think it might be time for Chelsea to move on from Lampard. I'm not a fan of sacking coaches, but they've invested a lot, and he's underperforming. I think it's time they move on from him.
How is this? This is his second year or first year?
This is his second year. He's performed better than last year than he did this year at the same stage. So
he's doing worse this year.
Yeah. After 200 million investment,
man, dude, they're too stacked. I think they're too stacked. You know what I mean? They have too many options. Like, like no one's doing well in Chelsea right now. Like, you name a couple players that are like consistent in Chelsea. No one.
Mm-hmm. The kid's Mason Mount, really. Mason Mount was keeping Lampard's job for him. I 100% believe that.
But every game, dude, like, I mean, it's so different, Like, every game, it's like Tammy scoring. Next game, it's gonna be like maybe Warner. Okay, next game, like Pulisic, like comes from like injury and and he scores, And next game, like, it's Billy Gilmore, as a center mid. Like it's like too complicated. I feel like it's a we're like 18 game already in this season, and I would like to see more consistency in Chelsea's lineup, but I don't know, man. I feel like they're too stacked, man. They're too stacked. They don't know which players to play at which times, and it seems like they're confused.
I agree with you honestly, and I think this just came down to, hey, here's money, go build a team. And I think Lampard kind of built a team in the sense that he was an attacking player, even though he was a midfielder. He got goals, and I think he built an attacking team. He overbuilt an attacking side because if you look at, okay, they added Ziyech, Werner, Havertz in their attack. Who else did they add really in attack? They added three attacking options. Did they really need those options? They had Hudson-Odoi, they had Tammy Abraham, and Giroud, which Giroud is a great backup. And when
Pulisic
he's
too.
on form, yeah, they have Pulisic. So they had those options. They had Mason Mount that can play off the flank, really.
Yeah, right.
So did they really need all three of those options? Honestly, I don't think so. I think they should have got probably a center midfielder because they have Kovacic, and I don't think they have another player that does what Kovacic does, except when Mason Mount really plays in that position. Because Jorginho is more of a holding player. Conte is of a holding player. Same thing with Billy Gilmore, but he's still young too. So they probably needed that, and they needed to build their defense a little. And I think Thiago Silva was good, and Mendy was a good signing. But he overbuilt the attack because now you have all these options. You have Pulisic, you have Giroud, you have Ziyech, you have Havertz, you have Abraham, you have Callum Hudson-Odoi. Who gets game time? How do you keep all of them happy? Because
Yeah.
these are no small players, man.
I
These are
know.
they're class players. Giroud is a World Cup winner. when Werner he was just top scorer, like almost beating Lewandowski in the German league. Havertz had an incredible season. Doi he's an uprising star. Then you have Tammy Abraham that wants to get into the England squad. It's like, how do you keep all of them happy? And like you said, I feel like they overbuilt this squad a little too fast. I think they should have let Giroud go before they probably brought in Werner. I think Havertz was a good buy, honestly, if they wanted to switch up systems. But I don't know how I feel about the Werner signing, because if they want to play him out on the flank, why not just play Hudson-Odoi, who is a natural winger? He's tricky, and and now he has to find that balance because it's really not working for him. And I think he's really dependent on the brilliance of Pulisic and Mason Mount and Ziyech a little too much, really. And he's kind of tactically inept. His tactics are kind of not great. You don't know what his game plan is in games. Some teams you see their game, like we're just talking about Spurs. You see their game plan. It's like we score a goal, we defend, we hit you on the break. But with Chelsea, you're like, what is really their game plan? Is it to keep possession? Is it to play off the wings? Is it play through the center? Is it play short, move? You really can't see that identity with them, and you're just like, how long can how long can he sustain this? And Champions League is coming back, so he needs to figure it out quick. And his job is on the line.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of like sacking managers, but we know Chelsea, they're an impatient club. They sack managers. They sacked the manager that won them the Champions League, their first ever European Cup.
Idris, they've been talking already on the news. They're talking about sacking Frank a lot now.
Yeah, so it's like he don't got time. So I think it might be time for them to move on from him, but they have to get the right manager in. And when I say the right manager, they have to be like, hey, we spent 200 million on this squad. In the summer, we'll probably give you 50 million tops to bring in maybe one player. You have to make it work. Because if they bring in another manager and he's like, well, Werner shit, I don't want him. Havertz shit, I don't want him. Giroud out. And they start rebuilding it again. Then you hit this cycle of you have players from different managers. And I guess Chelsea has the money, but it's really not a good way to sustain a team, really. But yeah, that
Yeah.
was kind of my long rant. I don't even like Chelsea, but I'm just a football fan. I think that's it. Like I
Yeah.
don't like these teams. I was just bantering my Chelsea fan because he was telling me that he was
Yeah.
reminding me that I'm 11th, but I can't let Chelsea banter me. So I gave him some bans. But as a football fan, you want to see some competition, some
Yeah.
intensity there with the top teams, and it's not really just happening right now.
It really isn't, man. Like you said, they already had like a solid lineup, and they had so many new signings, right? They spent 200 mil, right? And why don't they just work around, just get a couple signings, just maybe one or two, what they really need, and just bring the young players up from the academy.
Agreed.
I think that's better in long term, right? Because there's too much to risk at, you know, with these big signing like Timo. Like we all thought like he was gonna explode, right? Because we all saw what he was gonna do in Leipzig. But did we expect this? And no, we did not. We thought Timo was gonna just destroy Premier League, right? But the thing is that the Chelsea, how I look at it is that they didn't really have a bad season either last season. Like they still got the Champions League spot, and they had a lot of things they saw a lot of opportunity and in their mistakes and a lot of room for improvement. But did they really need those 200 million signings? I don't know. I don't think so, because they already had a pretty solid lineup attacking, and yeah, I think they went a little overboard with that.
Yeah, I agree. I think everyone needs to if, they need to incorporate the Liverpool model of buying players. Liverpool have built an incredible squad, and I think my only critic of Liverpool is not having enough squad depth
Mm.
in the attacking part of the field because Mane gets injured. I mean, they did sign Jota, but
Yeah,
apart from Jota, you have Minamino and Origi, Shaqiri. That I don't know. They haven't had that much game time, and I think
yeah,
everybody needs to follow that model because they bought over the years only players that they needed,
yeah,
and they bought the right. Because if you look at it in defense, they really only bought Van Dyke. Really, I think Curtis Jones is an academy player, or not Curtis Jones. Gomez is an academy player for them. Joe Gomez,
yeah.
or if he's not, I think what's it called? They didn't spend that much money on him. I'm just gonna look Joe Gomez
Joe Gomez
up
is
for a minute. Let's see.
Charlton. Actually, Liverpool. Yeah. Actually, no, youth. He played for Charlton. Yeah.
Yeah, Charlton. How much did they spend on him? Probably not a
Let's
lot. Let's
see.
see.
From Charlton to Liverpool, they spent 2.75 movement fee. Yeah, about 3 mil. Total transfer fee, yeah,
Yeah,
3 mil.
yeah. So if they took the Chelsea route, they would have spent 75 million on Van Dijk and probably another 80 million on Upamecano or something.
Yeah.
Good signings, but you already have one world class player. Just partner him with someone young that can teach him, learn his
Yeah.
trade. Same thing with Robertson. They got him from Hull City. How much or where they got him from? Was it 2 mil also? Look at him now, Trent Alexander-Arnold from the academy. They trusted him.
Yeah.
Alisson. They spent big on a goalkeeper. They needed a goalkeeper. It was a priority for them. They bought a goalkeeper. Midfield. Hendo was always in their midfield. Genie, goodbye, cheap option from Newcastle. Thiago, they didn't spend that much on Thiago for world-class player. They spent big on Fabinho and Naby Keita. Good options to have, but they didn't overdo it. Salah, I think they got him for 40 odd million. Mane, around the same price. Bobby was always there. And it's like, when you look at the team, you're looking at maybe 250, 300 million that they really spent wisely.
Yep.
And you just have Chelsea that have spent 200 million on good players, but do they fit the system? I don't know.
That's a good way of
Or they
putting it.
bought,
They are good players, but do they fit the system?
yeah. Do they fit what they want to go for? And I think Liverpool they were intentional. I think that's the word. They were intentional with what they wanted to do. They bought players that they had the system they wanted to play, and they bought players they thought, even though they don't have everything yet, we can tailor them to it. And we've seen it over the last few years. Once their team was completely built, they've been immense. So Chelsea have to figure that out. But I hate Chelsea, so I hope they get relegated.
Oh man. Yeah.
Right.
Let's see, Idris. So we talked about Chelsea game, and let's quickly touch about the Wolves game against who did they play?
West Brom.
West Brom. Yeah. It looks like Fabio. We had a video on Fabio if he was gonna be a bust. He looked like he scored a pretty awesome goal, dude. He knew how to use his body. You know, he created space and boom, easy goal for him. So I was very impressed with this goal, but overall performance of the Wolves, it looks like they're confused, man. They're the Nuno squad. They're in 14th right now. The absence of Raul Jimenez is just too big. Yeah, speedy recovery for Raul Jimenez, man. I'm wishing for that.
And this kind of brings me back to the point I made earlier about Spuds if Harry Kane gets injured, because no one was expecting, what's it called, for Jimenez to get injured.
Yeah.
They were probably like, okay, we just spent so much on this young kid. He's going to be playing alongside. Like if we're leading, we bring on Fabio Silva, get some game time, learn his trade from Jimenez, and kind of get him up to speed. But bam, Jimenez gets injured, and you're like, all right, we need this 19-year-old that we spent 40 million on to go score the same goals Jimenez is scoring. That's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen, and especially in the Premier League, and it's his first season. Like, if it was an academy player that has played in their system for a while, you can kind of understand it. Like, that they can come in and bang because they've been in the system. They know how. But he's just coming from international team, big money signing, still a young kid, new country, new language. Also, even though half their team is Portuguese, but still, he still has to communicate with the other ones. And you want him to bang goals, like big goals, as Jimenez. It's just not going to happen. And I really want to see him succeed, and that's like you want to see these players succeed because they're the future, man. Because like these are the players like later down the line, probably our kids are gonna watch and be like, hey, Dad, like this, or kids that you probably just see like if you're coaching or anything, like, hey, like I want to be like Fabio Silva and stuff. Like they're gonna watch them growing up, and it's just kind of sad because you want to see them succeed. And I think there's a lot of pressure on him. I think Pedro Neto has done a great job in the sense that he has been taking some of that weight on his shoulder to say he's a young lad too. I think he's 20, 21, or I think 22. He's a young lad too.
He's 20. He's born in 2000s.
Yeah, so he's young too, and it's like he's also one of their new signings, and that's a lot. He's been living up to the hype, really. But I think Adama Traore has to do more. 100%.
Agreed. Yeah.
He has to do more. He's been there. He has to be their go-to man. Like his dribbling ability, world class. He can get past players, but his final balls has to get better. It has to be better. He needs to work on his finishing. Moutinho, Neves, pretty solid. Then Dunker, I like him. I don't understand. I understand the Semedo signing, but I don't understand it at the same time because they had to fill in the spot that Doherty's left vacant. But was Semedo the answer? I guess being Portuguese gets you into the Wolf side easily. But I really like Connor Cody and Roman Saiz. I think they're really good players.
Dude, Saiz he can score, man.
He's incredible.
He's scary on the pitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
Yeah, and I think, going back to Fabio Silva, the 40 million, I think it's a good investment for the long term, but I feel they should have got an experience like forward
Mm.
in the shape of Olivier Giroud, in the sense
Mm.
that he's like someone that's not going to get a lot of game time, but when you need him, he can come on, he has that experience,
Yeah.
and he can bang for you.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm trying to look at a player that fits that profile in like the Premier League, but I don't probably
This
Charlie Austin, maybe.
Charlie Austin. Mm.
Yeah, he does get some, or Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll is
Oh
not going to
yeah.
get you. He's not going to get you a lot of goals, but he has that experience. He knows what to do, and when he's on his moment, he can get you those goals. I think they needed to sign someone like that. That
Agreed. Yeah.
that just because where are the goals really coming from? Like you just said, Roman Saiz has probably been carrying the weight when it comes to some goals. You see the defenders carrying it, and once Jimenez comes back, that's a little more pressure on him too, because it's like, hey, you've been out for a while. We need goals now. Like we need you to start scoring again, but it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So I
Also,
think they,
Pablo Hernandez.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah. I think he'll be a good one too.
yeah. So they just need to find like a veteran, like forward. He doesn't need to get a lot of game time, you know.
Yeah.
Couple, like you need a goal, throw him on, or put him and Fabio Silva in a two up top, you know.
Yeah.
Let the kid have the freedom. And I think that's why Olivier Giroud is such an important part to Chelsea and why they haven't sold him just yet, which makes me think, which is why I'm like, was the Werner transfer necessary that last summer? Probably this summer if Giroud left. Yeah, that would have been a great signing because now you have Tammy Abraham and Timo Werner, and you can play them in their natural positions.
Yeah.
But to accommodate Giroud now, you have to play Werner out of position. And it's good to have that option. And they already have the youngster. I was gonna say probably get in a youngster, but you can't bring in another youngster. You need that experience. And we're seeing a lot of teams do that, where they have some young forwards, but they also have those experienced heads that can kind of show them the ropes.
Yeah. Right. I still think Giroud is one of the best players attacking wise in Chelsea. Like from all his performances, I think he tops like Werner and other forwards like Tammy in Chelsea. I would definitely start him, in Chelsea squad. So was this transfers really necessary? I don't know, man. I don't think so. Too much. Too many, too stacked. Too stacked with two good players. Don't know what to do. And they all should be playing, at top level full time. So that's a lot of pressure on Lampard as well. But he put himself in that situation, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's there's always pressure. And I think that's why fans are impatient and we're kind of seeing the line of young managers come up. And I think football is just going to get younger and younger. And we've seen it, this kind of like off topic, but we've seen that lad from Dortmund, was it 16, making his debut, getting a goal. And
Yeah.
we're going to see squads get younger and younger. We're going to see managers get younger and younger. I think most teams have gone down the route where it's like, we're going to hire one of our legends or supposed couple legends, make them managers. Because how many elite top managers are out there, that are like not in a job right now? I can mention Allegri. Who else? Nobody really. Pochettino is PSG now. He's not free anymore.
Oh yeah.
Luis Enrique maybe. Yeah, and who else? There are not a lot of elite coaches. I think squads are just going to get younger. We're going to see new philosophies, and I just think the old heads are going to and I think it's going to take a huge hit on the smaller teams because those old heads, they're mostly in small teams. You see Big Sam back at West Brom try to not get them relegated, and he has major experience. He's been around the block a few times. And
Sam, right?
Yeah.
Dude, when the players miss, the look on his face, like on his frustration, cracks me up, dude.
Yeah.
He's so frustrated.
Yeah. and we've seen it. The likes of Klopp, Pep, Hasselhoff was a good coach. Brendan Rodgers, even Steven Gerrard with Rangers in the Scottish League. They've set the standards of like the young coaches and like the way to play, and it's going to be intensity. I think that's the way forward. You have to have the intensity.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the intensity. You have to be up for it 90 minutes. And I think a lot of teams are going to be left behind. And I don't see that with Chelsea, really. I don't see that with Lampard, even though he's a young coach. I don't think he has that.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they can come up to some stable position, stable rotation. And yeah, it looks very shaky right now. Not gonna lie.
Definitely.
So we have one game tomorrow coming up. Let's end with that. We have Arsenal, your team. First, let's talk a little bit about our Ozil. Finally, confirmation that he's gonna transfer. Like there's gonna be no extension. Like his term is done with Arsenal. He's going to a Turkish team. Apparently, second in the division.
Fenerbahce and his childhood club. That's the
His
team
childhood
he
club.
supported. Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on that, Idris?
I think it's best for both parties, really. I've been saying this to a lot of people I've been talking to. It's in the long run, it's best for both parties in the sense that Arsenal get that huge wage bill off, so they basically just save almost 18 million, or was it 7 million for the rest of his contract?
Yeah.
That they would have had paid him, and also goes back to playing football. And I think the football, even whatever you think of Ozil, call him lazy, he's still a class player. Like on his day, he's a joy to watch. And I think players like that need to play football. If the club came out and was like, hey, we're not playing him because of this reason, and we think it's better for the club financially in these hard times, I think most fans won't be that pissed off. I mean, it's kind of messed up that money triumphs over human rights issues, but if they came out with that statement, I'll be okay with it. It's messed up, but I'll be okay with it because they were honest with the fans. But telling me that Ozil cannot get into an Arsenal team that have been struggling all season because of football reasons, and you play Kolasinac and William week in, week out, that's bullshit. That's 100% bullshit. And that's what rattles the fans. That's what made the fans angry. Because you see your team play, you see William do fuck all for 90 minutes, plays week in, week out, and you come and tell me Mesut Ozil is not playing because of footballing reasons. Bullshit.
Yeah, it was a tough and confusing situation for all the Arsenal fans, but looks like they have come to a conclusion now. What's going to happen? And yeah, let's wish the best for Mesut Ozil. I still think he's a great player and has a lot of years left in him. So yeah, good luck, Mesut.
Wait, I got one more thing.
Yeah, we have a game.
We've got Ozil, Mesut Ozil. I just don't think you understand. He's better than Zidane. He's also Wenger's man. We've got Mesut Ozil. Man, I'm gonna miss him, but thanks for the memories, Mesut. Time to move on.
Yeah,
and wish him the best.
Yeah, good luck, Mesut. So we have Arsenal game with Newcastle. I think they recently had a match, right?
Yeah, in the FA Cup.
So, yeah, what are your predictions on that, Idris?
I'm expecting an Arsenal win. Anything else is not good enough. It's simple as that, really. Anything else is not good enough. Because I think now we have to really see what were those 3 games that we won in the Premier League on the bounce just a fluff. Now we have to see the real what we're really made of, in the sense that, okay, we switched things up, it's working, but now we have to continue this run of form, because I think the season has been generous to Arsenal, really. Because on a regular season, we'll be out of dust. Like even a top 10 spot might have been out of the picture. But now it's like I'm looking at the table where only 5 points off Chelsea in seventh, 8 points off Everton in sixth, 9 off Spurs in fifth. So that's 3 games. That's anything can happen. I think the table's been really generous to us, but now we have to start picking up points because the big more fixtures are going to come. FA Cup is resuming. Europa League is going to be back. Rotation. Premier League is going to get a little more intense, and these are points we have to pick up. And I really hope we win. I know Kieran Tierney is going to be back. He didn't play in our last game with injury. It was more of caution, but we looked lost in that game, and it's like he's a fullback for crying out loud. Like, do you really depend on your fullback that much? And I need more. I need more from my players. I need more from Aubameyang. He's had a horrible season, but I give him that leeway, really to find this form, because over the past 2 seasons his back must be hurting. He's probably feeling the back pain now. That's why he's been playing really poorly, because he's been carrying Arsenal for those 2 past.
Started to appear this season.
Right. So I expect more from Nicolas Pepe, 100%. 72 million. He's looking like a 10 million player these days. Not good enough for me. And again, it's the young lads that are coming to the rescue, because Kieran Tierney is still young. He's 23. Emil Smith-Rowe, 20. Bukayo Saka, 19. And you're like, these people are supposed to be learning their trade, We need the Aubameyang to step up. We need the Pepes to step up. I'm glad we have Thomas Partey back from injury, but granted, Xhaka, I really don't know what he brings. He brings this mixed emotion to the Arsenal fan base, where it's like they say he has a good game, but some of the games you watch, it's just like, that's what you expect from your midfielder,
Yeah.
That's like saying Harry Kane he had a good game because he scored 3 goals instead of 2, or he scored 3 goals instead of 1. Like, that's his job. That's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So when he has like performances where he does what he's supposed to do, like the fans rave about it. It's like, oh, he was immense, and you're like, but that's what he's supposed to do. And right. I think he needs to go. It's not good. It's simply not good enough. Danny Ceballos, our midfield is not looking great, really. Well, I don't see what we really have in that midfield. Willian should, for the sake of football fans all over the world, he should never play football again. He's atrocious. He's a shit player, man. We got him for, I say this every week, we got him for free, and I still feel we got ripped off. Gabriel Martinelli, a young lad again who brings that intensity to our team, but he's 19. Come back from injury, can't depend on him that much. So I'm expecting my big names to stand up. Bert Leno has been immense. What is with Germany and producing great goalkeepers? Manuel Neuer, Ter Stegen, Leno, they're incredible goalkeepers.
Yeah.
It's like, so I'm expecting
Leno's
a win,
backup in Germany.
He's the backup to the backup.
Yeah.
It's like, crazy. Whoa, right? Like, he should be number 1 for like most countries in the world, but
it's world class.
But we have to be wary of Newcastle too. They have some decent players. I am really impressed with Miguel Almiron, to be honest. He does the work. He works hard. He really does work hard. So I really like him. DeAndre Yedlin he's quick. He's rapid. Mm-hmm. Jamal Lewis, I don't know how I feel about him. He was pretty good for Norwich, but I think he's still finding his feet. And we'll have to pass Dubravka or Darlow, which are 2 great goalkeepers, really.
Yeah, Igalo's been phenomenal stepping up when Dubravka was out.
Yeah, and I think the only good side probably is that I think Callum Wilson and Saint Maximin are injured right now.
Yeah.
Because if not, I'll be shitting my pants. Because Saint Maximin against Bellerin, and it's hard to find really good right backs these days. I think left backs, it's not. I think we've seen a few in the past few windows. I really want to see more of Shishmikas. Really, I think he's a pretty decent fullback. But we've seen Shishmikas, we've seen Reglion. I don't rate Chilwell, but we've seen Chilwell. We've seen what's it called James Justin from Leicester, Tellez, Shaw. So I think there's a rise of left backs, but right backs, there's just not that many. Like, you know, and I don't know how I feel about Bellerin because before I think his injury is really the injury he had, his ACL really affected him.
Mm.
And he has a really good documentary about he kind of recorded his journey
Yeah.
through his injury on YouTube. I think everyone should watch it if you haven't seen it. And it gives you a different perspective on why you should feel for players who just came back from injury or like the journey they have to go through when fighting a long-term injury. It just gives you that different perspective, and it's free on his YouTube channel. I think everybody should check it out. I think it's called The Unseen Journey. You don't have to be an Arsenal fan to check it out, but it's really interesting and gives you a different perspective. But I think Newcastle, they play in a deep block. It's going to be hard for us to break down. We have to be clinical. We have to have that intensity and want it from the first minute. But I expect nothing less than a win. Anything less than a win is disappointing.
That's a good take. That's a good take. Alrighty. Idris, thank you for your take on tomorrow's prediction on Arsenal and Newcastle game. Looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good game. Good fight between two clubs that are fighting to climb up in the EPL table. So, yeah, let's see what happens. And finally, Idris, do you have anything to add before we end our podcast?
Thank you guys for being here with us. No,
That's
just
it?
make sure you obliterate that like button.
Obliterate. Okay. The
I'll
word came out. Nice.
destroy it.
Yes, guys. Just make sure to,
Yeah. So yeah.
Until your left click on your mouse breaks, just click that like button. And make sure you share this on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. Yeah, TikTok's a new big thing now. Yeah. Share on TikTok. I don't know how it's going to work, but do it. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. And
See ya. Peace.
we out. Peace.